Cannabis is not just about the THC. And for you newbies that are growing or just getting into smoking cannabis, you need to stop reading these labels and chasing high THC numbers. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why. What's going on, guys? It's Chris here from Ambrosia Buds. And one of the biggest mistakes I see new growers or new consumers when it comes to using and growing cannabis indoors or at home is everybody's constantly assuming that a higher THC content means a better quality of weed. That's really not how it works, guys. You need a little bit of an education, so hence me making this video. Guys, when it comes to THC, I always compare everything in cannabis to like cars, because I think it's the easiest analogy for me and maybe somebody will understand. THC is the motor. It's the horsepower that's driving your high. But the problem is, if you're just getting cannabis or reading labels and shooting for cannabis with a high THC, you're only getting half the package. Because if that horsepower, that THC level, isn't balanced out with the right terpenes, you're not going to get the best experience. But the reason for this, chasing the THC number, it's simple marketing, guys. THC is easier to test than terpenes. It's easier to understand. It's a one-stop shop as far as marketing. And when you throw something on a label that says this has 15% THC and this has 30, more than likely somebody that's wanting the ultimate high is going to go for the higher THC content. However, if you have the right balance of the certain terpenes to match your THC, it's going to be a better experience, because what the terpenes are is they're more like the drivetrain and the suspension. There's no point in having a big ass motor in a car if you can't get all that horsepower to the wheels into the road. And that's what the terpenes do when it comes to cannabis. And the reason I think when it comes to marketing cannabis, this isn't done, it's because it requires a little bit more of an education. A lot of people compare it to just alcohol when you're saying, oh, well, this has a higher alcohol content. Okay, let's go down that road for a second. Just because something has a higher alcohol content doesn't mean you're going to get a more pleasurable experience from drinking that alcohol. Prime example is wine versus moonshine. You know what I mean? So you have to really balance out the terpene flavor profile of the cannabis that you're either growing or that you're buying at shops with the THC levels, because without the right terpenes, you're not going to get the high that you're looking for. And with the right terpenes, you're going to get a better overall experience when it comes to smoking cannabis. And so I just think it's a big marketing gimmick. I'm not saying it's a scam, but there's a couple of things that do bug me about it. For one, testing is accurate, but there's a lot of wiggle room when it comes to the labeling. And I'm going to do a whole nother video of what you need to look out for on the labels of your cannabis at the shops, because I think it's just a big marketing scam, guys. They're trying to make money and they're trying to sell as much product as they can, and they're really not educating you like you should, because they know a lot of these new people getting into the cannabis market aren't as educated as all the old people that have been doing this for decades. So if you really want to get the ultimate experience when it comes to it, don't shoot just for a high THC level. And I'll give you a prime example. So right now, a lot of the cannabis that's being sold, the cup winners and stuff, like the permanent markers and whatnot, have a 25 to, let's say, 30% THC level. How accurate that is depends on how it's grown. It's a lot of factors, how it's tested. But back in the day, DJ Short's Blueberry was the hot, that was a high THC level of 18%. And a lot of people still lean towards that DJ Short Blueberry, if you can find it, because it has a good terpene profile to match the THC content that's in the plant. That's the difference of somebody that knows how to purchase cannabis or knows how to grow cannabis to somebody that's just chasing the THC content. And don't get me wrong, I fell for it, getting grease monkey, motor breath, and stuff like that, because people like to hear the high THC level. But once you educate yourself a little bit more on the terpene profiles, which I'll do in a later video, and I'll actually refer a book for everybody to read. I'm all about the books. I know you guys might like watching the YouTube videos, but I think the best way to retain and understand knowledge is actually to physically read something. But if you like what I'm talking about, do yourself a favor, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, because my next video, I'm going to actually break down what's going on with the labels that come on cannabis and what you got to look out for to really get what you want and hopefully save you some time and money depending if you're growing or you're purchasing. That's it, guys. Peace, stay green, and keep growing.